This is lesson 4 of the beginner course, and today we're going to look at the picado technique, which really just means picking in a classical or Latin or flamenco style. The picado idea or technique is really about generating this movement of the index and the middle finger, and generally done in what we call a rest stroke. Generally speaking, we use picado, we use the rest stroke for melodic passages, and we use it for scale passages. Now, to do that, we really need to coordinate the right hand with the left hand. If we're just playing the right hand, we're just going to be playing open strings. Let's start with an exercise where we warm up on each string. We're going to be playing a variety of notes, basically the notes in first position. So that includes E, F, G, B, C, D, G, and A. So we're going to start in that direction, and then we're going to turn it around and play it like a scale. So this is just a little warm up. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go E, F, G, G, B, C, D, D. All right, so I played through that pretty quickly, but you could go through that at your own tempo and your own pace, and basically playing patterns around those three strings. Again, just to reiterate, what we're doing is keeping the fingers walking. Now with flamenco, the picado, you really bring the arm back, the hand back, so that when you pluck, the finger has nowhere to go other than resting on that string. And some flamenco players really utilize more of the small joint, and they kind of play. Whereas the classical players tend to utilize more of the big joint, which gives it a lot of power and fluidity. And I like to use a combination, but really I would encourage you to think about mainly the big joint, and then if there is a little bit of a bend in the finger, that's okay. What you'll find when you're starting out is just that coordination between doing something with your right hand and something with your left hand, which is what feels uncomfortable at the start. So just take your time and be deliberate about it. Think about or be aware of what your right hand's doing, and as well as the left hand. And this is something that I talk commonly about with students. It's not all about the left hand, it's about both hands working together. So it's got to be done slowly, and little chunks at a time is best. So if you don't feel like you can go through the whole thing, one bar, and you can just call it out to yourself and then move to the next string. The next exercise, I call the G to G scale. So we're going to play those 8 notes, and then we're going to play from the 3rd string G to the 1st string G. All right, here we go. Again, to practice the picado, the walking, I would also do them twice each. Notice my thumb is resting on the bottom string. You can also rest it a little higher to give you a little more control, but it's fine to have it on one of the bass strings. Remember to have your hand sort of leaning back. This is different to the arpeggio, in which the hand leans forward because we need to have the swing space go kind of down and up, so we don't touch the strings after we've plucked. Whereas with the picado, with the rest stroke, we're going to have the hand sitting quite back. You also get a lot more power and push into the guitar. And don't forget that the guitar is a bit like a spring. We're going to put energy pushing into the soundboard, and then we get this sort of vibration out. That's how you move the air and you get the sound. Third picado exercise is just a little sequence, a little pattern. Okay, let's go. Okay, if you do that consistently, slowly, you might get to and you can even go beyond that. Now, I don't have any accompaniment for this, but these are really good little exercises for you to practice on your own, memorize them, and again, work on the coordination. As I mentioned in previous video, the video about the mistakes, keep your fingers near the frets. I can't stress that enough and how important that is, because it'll just minimize the pressure you have to put and the buzzing and the mistakes. One thing I will also say is that my thumb sits relatively still in that position. So when I'm in first position, which is in this position, my thumb stays still. So the final exercise, we're actually going to play a melody, and a very famous Spanish melody, and I thought this one was good because it's quite consistent and moves at a quaver pace, at a consistent quaver pace. So there's not a lot of change in rhythms, but it's very melodic and it's very memorable. And it's the melody from Spanish ballad or Romance d'Amour. There's a lot of different names for this Spanish piece, but it's an anonymous Spanish piece. And the more advanced version you can find on my channel or the link above. Okay, so we're going to play through this melody. It's in A minor, it utilizes most of the notes that we are using. There was one extra note, which is a G sharp. If you go back 2 videos from today, I talked about the A harmonic minor. This is in A harmonic minor, A minor and A harmonic minor. So there's a little bit of this A harmonic minor in this piece, which is, as I mentioned in previous videos, quite a Latin scale. So let's go Spanish ballad, the first part in A minor. And it's not working. So I played it at a medium pace. Oftentimes this piece is played quite fast. It can sometimes be played in a rumba sound, in a rumba style, and in that sense it's called rumba flamenca. So if you'd like to practice these exercises and get a little bit more insight and notes and downloads, you can go to my blog, Latin Guitar Mastery, and become an LGM member, which is really a companion to these YouTube lessons where I provide play-along tracks which you can slow down and speed up. And in this case, I've provided a backing track which you can practice along with. So kind of a useful tool. It's kind of like playing along with me. And I've created this little accompaniment part. So head over to that if you would like to go a little deeper into these lessons. At the same time, there's all the tools that I've given you here in this video should give you enough to practice. And this is lesson 4 of my weekly beginner course. A couple of days late today because I started back at my full-time teaching gig, so a little bit behind, and that's also why I'm doing it at night. And there's a little bit of background noise because the family is watching TV and my son's recording his own song at the moment, so there's a lot of things going on. So I hope you don't mind a little bit of extra background noise. As always, thanks for supporting the channel. I've had lots of really great comments on my recent videos, so keep it coming. I'm enjoying the conversations that we're having around Latin guitar, Spanish guitar, and Latin jazz. And I also did a poll which you guys are sort of telling me the style of guitar that you'd like to focus on, and that's really helpful because I can sort of tailor my lessons in that direction. And I balance that also with the things that I feel like I want to teach and you guys should be open to. So maybe there might be some other pieces in there that you might not have heard, but hopefully you'll enjoy, and it all makes for part of your guitar journey. And this channel is not about playing things quickly. It's not about get there fast. It's actually about slow progress, but building good technique that lasts and that will take you to places beyond maybe where you might have thought that you could go. And it's all about setting things up well, practicing regularly, but also getting good information. So this is the place, hopefully you can do it. So open to comments and questions, and I'll see you later in the week for my next video. Thanks guys.